What would you do if the fate of an entire nation rested on your shoulders? Would you speak up or stay silent to save yourself? Today we dive into the true story of a young woman who rose from obscurity to royalty, then risked everything, even her life, to save her people. This is not just a Bible story. This is a story of courage, purpose, and divine destiny. This is the story of Queen Esther. Long ago, in the kingdom of Persia, ruled by the powerful King Xerxes, lived a young Jewish girl named Hadassah, but you might know her as Esther. Esther was no princess, she was an orphan. Her parents had died when she was young, and she was raised by her wise cousin Mordecai, a man of quiet strength and deep faith. They lived in exile, far from their homeland, surrounded by a foreign culture, trying to survive quietly among people who didn't always welcome them. But Esther, she was beautiful, graceful, humble, and one day her life changed forever. When Queen Vashti was removed from her position after defying the king, a search began across the empire for a new queen. The most beautiful women in the land were gathered and brought to the palace. Esther was taken too. For an entire year, she underwent beauty treatments and palace training. She didn't ask for anything special. She didn't push her way forward. But when her turn came to meet the king, he chose her. Out of all the women, Esther found favor in the eyes of the king, and she was crowned Queen of Persia. A Jewish orphan now, the queen of the greatest empire on earth. But she kept one secret. No one knew she was a Jew. Meanwhile, a powerful and prideful man named Haman rose to become second in command to the king. Haman was respected by all, and he demanded everyone bow to him. But Mordecai, Esther's cousin, refused to bow, not out of disrespect, but because he would not worship any man. Haman was furious, but he didn't just want to punish Mordecai. He wanted to destroy all the Jews in the empire. He deceived the king into issuing a decree. On a certain day, every Jew, man, woman, and child was to be killed. The law was signed, the date was set, and fear spread like wildfire. When Mordecai heard about the decree, he tore his clothes, covered himself in ashes, and wept in the streets. He sent a message to Esther through her servants. "You must go to the king and beg for the lives of your people." But Esther was afraid. Even though she was queen, no one could approach the king without being summoned, not even her. To do so was to risk death, unless the king extended his golden scepter. And he hadn't summoned her in over 30 days. Esther replied, "I can't just walk into his throne room. I could be killed." But Mordecai sent back a reply that struck like lightning. "Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone will escape. If you remain silent, relief will come from somewhere else, but who knows if you were placed here for such a time as this." Esther was shaken, but something in her spirit shifted. She sent word back, "Go and gather all the Jews in Susa. As for me, do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my attendants will do the same." And then she said the words that echoed through history. "When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law, and if I perish, I perish." On the 3rd day, Esther put on her royal robes. She took a deep breath and walked toward the throne room. Every step echoed through the halls. Every heartbeat was a prayer. Would the king be pleased? Would he lift the scepters or order her death? She entered. The king looked up and smiled. He extended the golden scepter. Esther would live. He asked, "What is your request, Queen Esther?" "Even up to half the kingdom, it will be given to you." But Esther didn't speak yet. She invited the king and Haman to a private banquet, then another, and finally, at the second banquet, when the moment was right, Esther revealed her identity. She said, "If I have found favor in your eyes, spare my people, for we are to be destroyed." The king was shocked. Who would do such a thing? And Esther said, "The enemy is this vile Haman." The room erupted. The king stormed out in rage. Haman begged for his life, but it was too late. That very day, Haman was executed, and the king issued a new decree, allowing the Jews to defend themselves. And when the day of destruction came, God turned it into a day of deliverance. The Jewish people were saved, Mordecai was promoted, and Esther was honored throughout history. Esther was never meant to be queen by accident. She didn't get lucky. She was chosen by God for that exact moment in time, for such a time as this. Maybe you feel unqualified, ordinary, afraid to speak up. But Esther shows us that God can use anyone, especially the unlikely, to change the world. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's moving forward in faith, even when fear is loud. So what is your moment? What purpose has God placed in your life? Because maybe, just maybe, you were born for such a time as this.